Good morning, good morning, good morning. The time for convening has arrived. The Senate will come to order. At this time, I will ask all unauthorized personnel to exit the chamber. Chair recognizes the senator from the 28th for the reading of the journal.
Good morning, Mr. President. I would like to wish you a happy Ides of March Day. Happy National Equal Pay Day. Happy National Peanut Lovers Day. National Shoe the World Day. True Confessions Day. And National Everything You Think Is Wrong Day. Mr. President, we've got a great lineup of pages today. They're coming into our chamber as we speak. Today we've got Carson Rivers, Eli Butchek, Miata Harris, Isla Rose Robinson, Case Shirley, Michael Francis, Caleb Sweat, Ben Friedman, Meredith Dempsey, Alyssa Austin Perry, Kanati Austin Perry, Dustin Mills, Cameron Sneed, Kinston Cotty, many of us know Jimmy Cotty. We've got Drew King, Jacqueline Van Shore, Vivian Van Shore, Matthew Amante. Thank you, pages. Look forward to working with y'all today. And y'all get to work. Thank you. Mr. President, the journal has been read and found to be correct.
All right, thank you, Senator, and thank you, pages. We appreciate you being here today. Appreciate all your hard work. Good to have all these young folks from all around the state volunteering and coming and doing some work here at the Capitol. So thank you for recognizing them, Senator. Is there objection to dispensing of the reading of the journal? Chair hears none. The reading of the journal is dispensed with. Is there objection to the confirmation of the journal? Chair hears none, and the journal is confirmed. All senators who have bills and resolutions to introduce, please bring them to the Secretary's desk at this time. First reading and references of Senate bills and resolutions. Secretary will read those captions.
Senate Bill 303 by Senator Halpern of the 39th and others, a bill to be entitled an act providing a homestead exemption from Fulton County ad valorem taxes for county purposes in the
State
amount
and
of
local
50.
government.
Senate Bill 304 by Senator Butler of the 55th and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to holidays and observances so as to designate the month of July each year as Muslim American Heritage Month. Senate Resolution 314 by Senator Anna Vitarte of the 31st and others, a resolution creating the Senate Study Committee on the benefits of solar energy in Georgia and for other purposes.
Rules.
Senate Resolution 316 by Senator Robin of the 5th and others, a resolution recognizing March 16, 2023 as Muslim Advocacy Day at the Capitol and for other purposes.
Rules.
Senate Resolution 317 by Senator Butler of the 55th and others, a resolution recognizing July 2023 as Muslim American Heritage Month and for other purposes. Senate Resolution 319 by Senator Jackson of the 41st and James of the 35th, a resolution recognizing Mr. Chester Coach Force and dedicating a road in his honor and for other purposes.
Transportation.
Senate Resolution 321 by Senator Jackson of the 41st and others, a resolution recognizing...
Transportation.
Senate Resolution 323 by Senator Jones II of the 22nd and others, a resolution creating the Senate Study Committee on improving family caregiver services and for other purposes. Senate Resolution 327 by Senator James of the 35th, a resolution recognizing and commending Mayor Rochelle Robinson on her outstanding public service and for other purposes. Senate Resolution 334 by Senator Kennedy of the 18th, a resolution amending the rules of the Senate and for other purposes.
Rules.
Senate Resolution 335 by Senator James of the 35th, a resolution recognizing and commending Mayor Khalid Kamau on his outstanding public service. That completes the order, Mr. President.
First reading references of House bills.
House Bill 675 by Representative Williams of the 168th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to provide a new charter for the city of Riceboro. So as to
State and local government.
House Bill 676 by Representative Hagan of the 156th and others, a bill
State
to be
and local government.
House Bill 680 by Representative Taylor of the 173rd, a bill to be entitled an act to provide a new charter for the
State
city
and
of
local
Thomasville.
government.
House Bill 681 by Representative Green of the 154th, a bill to be entitled an act to authorize the
State and
assessment and
local
collection.
government.
House Bill 682 by Representative Green of the 154th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to authorize the assessment and collection
State
of
and local
technology.
government.
House Bill 683 by Representative Green of the 154th, a bill to be entitled an act to authorize the assessment and collection of a
State and
technology.
local government.
House Bill 685 by Representative Green of the 154th, a bill to be entitled an act to authorize the assessment and collection of a technology fee by the Magistrate Court
State
of
and
Early
local
County.
government.
House Bill 686 by Representative Green of the 154th, a bill to be adopted, an act to authorize the
State and local government.
House Bill 688 by Representative Green of the 154th, a bill to be adopted, an act to authorize the assessment and collection of
State and
technology.
local government.
House Bill 689 by Representative Green of the 154th, a bill to be adopted, an act to authorize the
State and
assessment.
local government.
House Bill 690 by Representative Green of the 154th, a bill to be adopted, an act to authorize the assessment and collection of a technology
State
fee.
and local government.
House Bill 691 by Representative Green of the 154th, a bill to be entitled an act to authorize the assessment and
State and
collection.
local government.
That completes the order, Mr. President.
Secretary will read reports on standing committee.
Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Education and Youth has had under consideration the following legislation and has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 340 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Dixon of the 45th District Chairman. Senate Committee on Regulated Industries and Utilities has had under consideration the following legislation and has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 455 do pass. House Bill 493 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Cowsert of the 46th District Chairman. The Senate Committee on Retirement has had under consideration the following legislation and has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 285 do pass. House Bill 317 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Harbin of the 16th District Chairman. The Senate Committee on SLOGO has had under consideration the following legislation and has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. Senate Bill 294 do pass. House Bill 288 do pass. House Bill 622 do pass. House Bill 632 do pass. House Bill 633 do pass. House Bill 634 do pass. House Bill 635 do pass. House Bill 649 do pass. House Bill 671 do pass. House Bill 672 do pass. House Bill 673 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator again of the 47th District Chairman. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Secretary will read bills and resolutions for the second time.
House Bill 31 by Representative Buckner of the 137th and others, Conservation and Natural Resources Hazardous Waste Trust Fund, dedicate proceeds of certain hazardous waste fees. House Bill 35 by Representative Hitchens of the 161st and others, Georgia Ports Authority, provide for powers, expand arrest authority of officers. House Bill 36 by Representative Martin of the 149th, ad valorem tax, language required to be included in notice of current assessment revised. House Bill 80 by Representative Leverett of the 123rd and others, Uniform Unsworn Declarations Act and Act. House Bill 91 by Representative Wade of the 9th and others, wills, trusts, and administration of estates. Notices to beneficiaries regarding issuance of letters testamentary require. House Bill 132 by Representative Jenkins of the 136th and others, buildings and housing, amend Georgia State Minimum Standard Codes to authorize certain uses of ungraded lumber require. House Bill 138 by Representative Crowe of the 118th, revenue and taxation, update population bracket and census data for a certain property tax exemption for certain leased property. House Bill 166 by Representative Mathiak of the 74th and others, courts provide for qualification of constables. House Bill 182 by Representative Reeves of the 99th and others, property, curing defective deeds and other instruments, provide revised provisions. House Bill 183 by Representative Barton of the 5th and others, motor vehicles, temporary license plates, and operating permits, revised terminology. House Bill 193 by Representative Anderson of the 10th and others, local government, increased dollar values of certain public works construction contracts exempt from bidding requirements. House Bill 299 by Representative Thomas of the 21st and others, Georgia Code, add appropriate references to United States Space Force provisions. House Bill 414 by Representative Blackman of the 146 and others, mental health grant program to aid service members, veterans, and their family provide. House Bill 444 by Representative Reeves of the 99th and others, property revised when an action may operate as a lease pendants. House Bill 508 by Representative Ballinger of the 23rd and others, crimes and offenses, orders be served on a respondent within 24 hours of the court's issuance of such order provide. House Bill 524 by Representative Ridley of the 22nd and others, motor vehicles, issuance of Class C driver's license to operators of certain three-wheeled motor vehicles provide. House Bill 529 by Representative Williams of the 148th and others, insurance, minimum amounts of uninsured and underinsured coverage to be maintained by transportation network and taxi service companies provide. House Bill 545 by Representative Cannon of the 172nd and others, Agriculture Commodity Commission for citrus fruits provide. That completes the order, Mr. President.
It is now time for the morning roll call. Are there any motions to excuse? Senator from the 33rd.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning, y'all. I ask for unanimous consent to excuse the senators from the 26th, 41st, and 33rd. scratch 33rd. That's me.
26th, 41st, and 33rd?
No, 33rd is me. I'm sorry. Just for 26.
I don't know about you, Senator. I've seen you excuse worse here today. So
For business inside the Capitol. Sorry, sir.
26th, 41st, and what's the last one again?
Just those two.
Just those two. Okay, all right. Without objection, the senators from the 26th and 41st are excused. Senators from the 21st.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent to excuse the senators from the 27th and the 51st for business inside the Capitol.
Without objection, the senator from the 27th and the 51st will be excused. Are there any other motions to excuse? Before we do our roll call, I want to recognize one of our former colleagues here, Mr. Clint Day, back there in the back. Clint is a former senator from the beautiful Golden Isles, from the Georgia coast. Clint did a great job serving in the state Senate, and we're always glad to have our former colleagues and really appreciate former Senator Clint Day being here with us today. It is now time for the roll call. Secretary will call the roll. Senators, signify your presence by voting the yay switch. Secretary will unlock the machine. It is now time for the morning devotion. All senators, please take your seats and cease all conversation. I would ask the doorkeeper secure the chamber at this time. I'd like to recognize the senator from the 48th to lead us in our pledge and introduce our chaplain of the day. Senator?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And to the Georgia flag. Pledge allegiance to the Georgia flag and the principles for which it stands, wisdom, justice, moderation, courage. Good morning. I first met Minister Warren Hawkins III at St. James United Methodist Church in Alpharetta in my district, where he performed an original spoken word piece titled "The Path Yet Paved." And he did this on Martin Luther King Day. His words were powerful and moved me greatly. I found that we connected the first time I heard him speak, and I'm honored to be introducing Warren as today's chaplain of the day. Warren Hawkins III is a fresh and young voice, not to be confused with the Page, as some of y'all had pointed out already today. He is young, but he is powerful and he is very bright, and I think you'll really enjoy this. He He became a licensed minister at the age of 18 after graduating high school. He then went on to become the only student in Clark Atlanta University history to hold presidential office all 4 years that he was there. He has used his voice and his talent to advocate and empower those in his community. He is the director and pastor of children and youth, and he has been featured on national TV, radio stations, news articles for advocacy, ministry, leadership, and his involvement in our community. He continues to work and uplift people as a doctoral student. He is a licensed minister, actor, a two-time author, a playwright, a motivational speaker, and a spoken word artist. I am beyond pleased to have Minister Warren Hawkins III here today and for him to inspire you as he has inspired me. Thank you. Warren?
Good morning. Thank you to Senator Sean Steele for that warm welcome. And thank you to each of you for allowing me the space to be here today. And Governor, of course, thank you. I'm excited, I'm elated, and I am humbled to be in you all's presence on today. Shall we get started? Weary, oh weary, the path yet paved. This waterway must not turn into a segue of rowing gently down a stream that seems, if we are washing upon a shore, that isn't so sure of its currents. See, we cannot let this moment slip between our fingertips like grains of sand. We can be the specks who expect to be uniquely different as each finger, yet united as one hand. We reach toward wells that shall not wring dry. We reach toward stars that shine brighter than the stripes. We reach toward loaning a hand and not having to ask for it back later. We reach for the missing piece that shall keep the U.S. in one piece by piece, and brick by brick with one hand we build, yet with another hand we must shield, because crossroads only become dangerous when no one is willing to yield. So we must take a look at both ways if we are to be expressed in such a high way. And if the future is to emerge, then there's a lane we must merge together as we ride in between, living the reality that was once dreamed, and now dreaming the reality that we still want to live. As we live to climb, we must climb to live in order to heal this hill. We must not let the words of our speeches become further than the sky that we are reaching for. For the truth that is self-evident is that we cannot let disunity be a fixed income deposited into our society, because it leaves receipts that are taxing for us all. So it makes sense for this moment to be more than just a potion of devotion, but a portion that truly devotes us. It's not enough to only exegete the text we hold in our hands, but we must also exegete the existence we behold in our eyes. I spy with my little eye the Bible prophets who answered the clarion call to be the clarinets who serenade for neighbors whose symphonies needed sympathy. Oh, how their epiphanies were always in tune with the conductor's pitch. So we must not strike out at a time as this, because safe bases are at stake. So shall we re-officiate what's at hand? In this great land, there's a path yet to be paved so that all can be saved. I said there's a path yet to be paved so that all can be saved. Good morning. Again, I'm excited to be here. And if I had to give a theme on this moment on today, in this space right now for us, in this devotion, I would simply let it be the words that I echoed and reverberated throughout the sentiments of this spoken word poem shared just now. And it would be the path yet paved. The path yet paved. You know, funny thing is, on my way here, I was very excited. But unfortunately, I kept missing my turn about 3 times. See, I was told that there was a particular path paved for me by way of having a parking spot. Funny thing is, I've never had a parking spot for myself before, so I felt pretty good about myself. So there was a resource, a particular path specifically designed and carved out for me. However, I kept missing it. I missed it at least 3 times. And it was going to be a 4th until I stopped the innocent bystander. And funny thing is, I could see that this young lady was in a rush, but she could see the panic and worry in my face and in my eyes. So she took it upon herself to carry my burden. And she said, "How may I help you?" And I told her that I was looking for my particular parking space, and she helped me. So she helped show me the path that was paved for me. And ladies and gentlemen, I think part of our work is not just showing people or showing folks the path that has already been paved, but also paving a path that has yet to be paved. See, the definition of a path is a way, a route, or track that has been laid out for the purpose of transit or travel in order to travel from one place to another. And the funny thing is, originally, in terms of the process of paving a path, I personally believe that each of us in this room today are pavers. And I had many assumptions about the process of paving paths that I thought was rather easy, but it's far more convoluted than I originally perceived. For example, there are many critical and crucial steps to paving a path to what is a road. One of the many factors that is considered when paving a road is for pavers to never just assume that the path that they are paving is by default an intrinsic a solution for its intended travelers. Therefore, before any path is paved, before any groundwork is laid down, pavers must first assess many factors at hand. And one of the many factors at hand that are assessed is the traffic volume of those who travel the particular area. Now, when it comes to traffic volume, in other words, the traffic volume means that the needs of the travelers speak loud and clear. For instance, if there's a particular area that is typically traveled by drivers who drive large trucks, then you will notice that these particular roads quickly diminish and deteriorate over time due to, even after initial installation. The reason is because these drivers carry large burdens and heavy loads. Therefore, in order to ensure that these roads are suitable and maintain themselves, there is a special material needed to make the roads durable to help people who travel life's roads with large weight and heavy burdens. Furthermore, in terms of traffic volume, what is also considered is that our fellow scooter riders and bike riders are also factored into the traffic volume. Because even if you see paths of roads that are paved now, what happens is fellow lanes and opportune space are also included for other varying travelers. Furthermore, bus transit is also considered when it comes to traffic volume, because a new paved road has the potential to expand more ridership for others with the same route, hence the same resource. And I say all this to say that the usefulness of every road paved should not be measured by meeting the external factors of the paver, but by solving the internal frustrations of those who will be the travelers. In other words, will this path paved lead to crossroads of opportunity, or will it lead to transit of traffic? Will it lead to more freeways, or will it lead to more roadblocks? In fact, there's a story in the Bible of Jesus speaking to a large group of people. And the funny thing is, this story takes place with 4 friends knowing the power of a path yet paved. While Jesus is speaking to a large group of people in the house had become so overcrowded that the front entrance had been blocked. In other words, the path that was already paved was no more. Therefore, the 4 friends arrived carrying a paralytic man on a mat, and they knew that they had to get their paralytic friend to Jesus so that he could be healed. And the issue was, this paralytic man, paralyzed from the top of his head to the soles of his feet, could not move, could not get to Jesus on his own autonomy. Therefore, he could not pave his own path and needed someone else to do so. And what's interesting is, the 4 friends knew that they needed to pave a path that had yet to be paved in order to get their friend to Jesus. And that's exactly what they did. What they decided to do is they decided to dig a hole in the roof, and they lowered their friend to the ground to Jesus. And the text states that Jesus, seeing their faith, said, "Because of your faith, your friend will be healed." And in closing, I share all that to say that we must be like the four friends, that let our work be measured not by status, not by symbol, not by how long our robes hang, not even by the longevity of our last names, but let our work and our measurement be measured by the paths we paved so that others can be saved. Let us pray. Dear Lord, help us to realize that we are the four friends that shall transcend this story, that we are called, that we are commissioned, that we are chosen, that we are selected to be pavers of paths. And now is not the time to ponder on what could have been done differently, but it is the time now to do differently and know that direction has always been more vital than speed. And although we may not have arrived to the destination just yet, as long as we are on the way, let us not grow weary in well-doing, because the only impossible path to travel is the one we never begin to pave. Let us all pray. Amen.
We have some very special guests with us today, and our senator from the 16th will introduce them here in a second. But Secretary, read the caption.
Senate Resolution 324 by Senator Harbin of the 16th and others, a resolution recognizing the Civil Air Patrol for their service to the citizens of Georgia and for other purposes. Whereas the Civil Air Patrol was founded on December 1st, 1941 as an organization of volunteers meant to assist the United States military and national defense by performing aerial, coastal patrols and emergency services within the continental United States. And whereas these flying Minutemen of the Civil Air Patrol have since its inception consistently provided the state with invaluable emergency services, serving America's communities, saving lives, and shaping futures. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate that the members of this body recognize the selfless contributions that the volunteers of the Civil Air Patrol have made to the state of Georgia. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? Chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. It's nice to have the young people here behind me with our Civil Air Patrol out of Dobbins Air Force Base, and great to have them here and honor them. I see a bunch of them there in the upstairs there, and I'll call on the senator from the 16th to speak to the resolution. Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. Appreciate having y'all here today. Today we want to welcome in our chamber the Georgia Civil Air Patrol. Today is Civil Air Patrol Day. You'll see a lot of them around the Capitol, and we want to take time to recognize them and this group for their extensive service to our nation. This volunteer organization assists the United States military in defense and national defense by performing aerial coastal patrols, emergency services within our country. The Civil Air Patrol and ground teams perform over 90% of the inland search and rescue missions with 62,000 volunteers and 540 aircraft. Today we have with us Colonel Jeffrey Garrett, Cadet Major Powers, Cadet Captain Dang, Cadet Second Lieutenant Vega, Cadet Senior Airman Shore, and with those in the gallery, would you please stand as we recognize you? And we want to thank you for your hard work and for all that you do. If you'll give them a round of applause up there and here. All right. Captain Garrett, would you like to say a word? And I will give you a resolution recognizing you and your work that you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Mr. President, Senator, just briefly want to thank our representatives from the state of Georgia for the continuing and unwavering support of Civil Air Patrol. On behalf of our 1,800 volunteer members in the state of Georgia, citizens serving communities, shaping futures, saving lives, it's very humbling. We have a number of our members, but primarily when you guys in your free time today, you get out there, you see these cadets, please take a minute to speak to them, find out what our organization's all about. And I'm going to get my sales pitch in real quick. If we're not in your neighborhood, help us out. We'd love to be there. Thank you very much for having us.
All right, we've got some more special guests here today. All our guests are special, but these are, we have some dignitaries here with us. Secretary, read the caption.
Senate Resolution 260 by Senator Kennedy of the 18th and others, a resolution recognizing and commending Minister Dara O'Brien on his outstanding public service and for other purposes. Whereas Minister Dara O'Brien has been long recognized by the people of Ireland for the vital role that he has played in leadership and his deep personal commitment to the welfare of his fellow citizens. And whereas it is abundantly fitting and proper that this outstanding accomplishments of this remarkable and distinguished individual be appropriately recognized. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate that the members of this body recognize and commend Minister Dara O'Brien for his efficient, effective, unselfish, and dedicated public service and extend the most sincere best wishes for continued health and happiness. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? Chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. It is my honor to call on the pro tem of this body, Senator from the 18th, to introduce our special guest, but always a pleasure having a lot of distinguished dignitaries that we've had down this session, and O'Brien, the crowd that he has here today, a lovely group, and I just appreciate them being here and honoring us with their presence. Senator, speak to the resolution.
Good morning, colleagues, and Mr. President, thank you for that. I rise today to recognize Ireland's Minister of Housing, Local Government, and Heritage, Dara O'Brien. Minister O'Brien was first elected in 2016 to the Irish Parliament and was appointed as Ireland's Minister of Housing in 2020. Minister O'Brien has long been recognized for his steadfast focus on personal commitment to providing safe, affordable, and dignified housing to the people of Ireland. Since his appointment, Minister O'Brien has announced a four-point plan aiming to provide 300,000 new homes to the people of Ireland by 2030. Additionally, through public and private investment, Minister O'Brien is leading the charge in providing 18,000 rental homes and 90,000 starter homes to help address the crisis. Isn't it interesting that some of the issues that they're dealing with in Ireland with regard to good, affordable housing are some of the same issues we're dealing with in Georgia, in part because both are attractive, great places to live and have growing economies. Minister O'Brien has served with honor and distinction, and it is an honor to have him with us today. I think he will speak to some of the significant investments that Ireland has made in the state of Georgia and continues, and how that continues to increase. I'm honored to have him with me. I'm going to ask him to introduce some of the people that are on the rostrum with us, and it is my distinct honor and pleasure to offer to you, and please welcome Minister O'Brien.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Lieutenant Governor Jones, President Pro Tem Senator Kennedy. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined by my delegation here from Ireland, our Consul General, Cuivani Ní Cruthar, and our team here from Dublin. It really is a great honour to be with you here today in the Georgia Senate. And I particularly want to thank the President Pro Tem Senator John F. Kennedy for facilitating our visit here this morning. And I would like to acknowledge the stewardship of Senator Mike Duggan of a resolution marking the 25th anniversary of a very important Good Friday Agreement in Ireland. As an elected representative of the people of Dublin Fingal, and on behalf of the Government of Ireland, I want to bring our warmest St. Patrick's Day greetings to all of you here in the Georgia Senate. Ireland deeply values its ties with Georgia. Irish America in the past has been maybe traditionally associated with the Northeast, with Boston, Chicago, and New York. But the truth is that our bonds here in the South are strong and enduring. Around 9% of Georgians claim Irish and Scots-Irish heritage. There are thousands of Irish-born people living and working here in Georgia. And Irish businesses and investment is flocking here. This is a booming state, a booming city of Atlanta. And there are over 7,000 Georgians here in this state employed directly by Irish companies. And incredibly, for a small country of just 5 million people, we are the 8th largest source of foreign direct investment in the Peach State. And we'll continue to invest as a country, with 2 very significant announcements earlier on today, as well, of additional jobs that Irish firms are investing in this wonderful state. The fulcrum of Ireland's presence in the US is moving southward. Atlanta was our first consulate in the Southeast, opened in 2010, and we have since added Austin, LA, and Miami. We know that so much of America's future and its potential lies here in the South. This St. Patrick's Day, we mark 3 very important anniversaries in Ireland's progress as an independent, prosperous and peaceful nation. We're marking 100 years of Ireland in the world, since 1923 when Ireland joined the League of Nations, and after centuries of British rule, we took our place amongst the nations of the world. Secondly, we're marking Ireland's 50th year anniversary of membership of the European Union, the world's greatest peace and economic cooperation project, which laid the foundation of the confident modern Ireland of today, one of the most highly developed and outward-looking nations in the world. And thirdly, we commemorate the 25th anniversary of the signing of the Good Friday Agreement, a shared agreement of the British and Irish governments, the parties in Northern Ireland, and the people of the island that has brought to an end decades of political violence. An agreement that would not have taken hold if it was not for our friends here in the United States. Throughout Ireland's journey towards peace and prosperity, our partners in the United States on both sides of the aisle have been with us on that road. We thank you for it. Our partnership with Georgia has never been stronger, and we look forward to what we can achieve together in the years to come. I want to wish you finally the very, very best of wishes for St. Patrick's Day. Banachdy, Nefela Padraig, Orav Galer. Goramila Mahagwif. Thank you very much.
And we have our third and final guest with us, another group of dignitaries here representing the country of Taiwan. And Senator from the 28th has that resolution. Secretary, read the resolution, please.
Senate Resolution 176 by Senator Brass of the 28th and others, a resolution commending Taiwan for its relations with the United States and the state of Georgia and for other purposes. Whereas Georgia welcomes all opportunities for an even closer partnership on business, educational, cultural, and people-to-people exchanges between citizens of the United States and Taiwan, and for collaborating better together in the worldwide economic recovery efforts. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate that the members of this body support the establishment of a trade office in Taiwan in order to attract more investments, encourage officials and members of legislature to conduct more frequent exchanges with their Taiwanese counterparts, and urge for the signing of an education cooperation MOU with Taiwan aimed at promoting Mandarin English language teacher and student exchange. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? Chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. I'd like to call on the distinguished rules chairman, the senator from the 28th, to introduce our special guest and speak to the resolution. Senator?
Thank you, Mr. President. It gives me a great honor today to come present this resolution along with my co-chairman of the Taiwan Caucus, the senator from the 33rd, has joined me up here on the rostrum. But again, it's a great honor to have Director General Elliot Wong, he's been representing Taiwan as a diplomat since 1998. And some of his previous experience has been in North American affairs, diplomat training, and public diplomacy, and he's been stationed in Washington, D.C. and Brussels. He holds degrees from Tung Hai University and National Cheng Chi University. He has completed training programs at Oxford University, the Harvard Kennedy School, and Taiwan's National Academy of Civil Service. Elliot Wong enjoys music, classical music, movies, tennis, wine tasting, which he's very good at, and golf, which we'll just say he's got potential. But Elliot and I have become good friends, and just enjoy his company, and just, again, an honor to have him here, and I'd like to call him up to say a few words to this body.
If I get everybody's attention, please. Try to just bring it down to a whisper here so we can hear from our special guest here. So, Mr. Wong.
So thank you, President Burr Jones, and Senator Taiwan Caucus co-chair, Senator Brass, and Senator Retz. Distinguished senators, good morning. Actually, this is my second time on this stage. And the first time, I was just here taking the photos as the tourists. But today, I have the great pleasure standing here to receive this resolution on behalf of Taiwanese government. Actually, standing here right now just makes me feel I'm winning the Oscar Academy Award, and ready to say thank you to all of you. I have to say the Georgia Senate is at the heart of making dreams come true. Thanks to you, Georgia has become the home to many Fortune 500 companies, the movie capital of the U.S., and the #1 state to do business for 9 years in a row. However, our wish is that you will also become the #1 state supporting Taiwan. As you know, the world has changed drastically, and we are seeing a massive company moving out of China, accelerating the realignment of the global supply chain. And the Taiwanese company are also shifting their business from China to the U.S. And Taiwan is the number 8 largest trading partner for the U.S., even outranking India and Vietnam. So Georgia has also been a very important partner to Taiwan. Over the past 2 years, the two parties signed an agreement to mutually recognize the driver's license. The World Taiwanese Chamber of Commerce held its 28th annual conference in Atlanta. And my office have the pleasure also set up the first Taiwan Pavilion at the Southern Automotive Conference, joined by 8 leading Taiwanese companies related to electric vehicles. That being said, there's still so much more we can do together. So let's start with expanding the way Georgia conducts its business globally. And I encourage you to establish a trade office in Taiwan. I guarantee you that by doing so, we'll keep Georgia the #1 place to do business for the years to come. And I said this with great confidence only because Taiwan plays a key supplementary role in the EV supply chain, and it continues striving. So Georgia can tap into those resources and grow exponentially faster compared to the other states. So now let's talk about the elephant in the room, China. So when a giant Chinese balloon flew across the United States, we saw American people were so shocked. But to our people in Taiwan, this is just the everyday life. For years, we have faced China's countless gray zone operations. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has told us that a democratic country must stand together to prevent another war from reoccurring. Because of that, I'm so grateful standing here today that Taiwan has strong support from Peach State. So I look forward to continuously working with you all on everything, everywhere, all at once. And to make sure Taiwanese people will always keep Georgia on their mind. Thank you.
It is always nice to have our doctor of the day, and we have Dr. Kelly here. Yeah, Dr. Kelly has been down here at the Capitol a few times before, I believe, and she's a specialist in family medicine and just a real treat to be around, and we greatly appreciate her and all the other people in the medical field that come down here and volunteer their time. And I will call on the senator from the 38 to introduce our doctor of the day. Senator?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to introduce you today to Dr. Kelly DeGraffenreid. She serves as the Physicians Program Director of Appointment Excellence and Ancillary Access for Kaiser Permanente of Georgia. As a specialist in adult medicine, she works closely with her healthcare team to educate her patients and the community on the things they need to be aware of to prevent disease. She believes that our bodies, minds, and relationships all have an effect on our health and encourages her patients to make time to celebrate their lives. She is a native of Indiana and the youngest of 11 children. Decided in the 8th grade she wanted to be a physician. She graduated from Purdue University with a pharmacy degree, then went on to complete her medical degree at Case Western Reserve University and her residency here at Emory University. She joined Kaiser Permanente in 2003 and sees patients in medical offices throughout Metro Atlanta. In addition to her clinical duties, she serves as an elected representative to her medical group's board of directors. Outside of the medical office, she plays the piano and she sings at her church. She is also an avid fan of professional football and has recently taken up gardening. She is also very active in the Medical Association of Georgia as president of the Medical Institute of Excellence in Medicine and former task force chairperson, and is on the board of Medical Association of Atlanta. Let us welcome our Doctor of the Day. I hope you will not have to avail yourself of her services.
All right.
I'll be brief. Thank you to my Senator Tate for the introduction. Thank you, President Jones, and a special acknowledgement to Dean Harbison. In addition, I'd like to give my gratitude to members of the Chamber for your work and service individually and collectively. I'm also grateful to the Medical Association of Georgia for the opportunity to serve you in the medical room along with the amazing Miss Julia. I am proud to serve alongside with you as we strive to ensure that the citizens of Georgia receive and have access to high-quality care in their pursuit of happiness. Thank you for allowing me to be here, and thank you for the opportunity to speak and acknowledge you.
Thank you. That was perfect. I need to teach some of these folks. We have a former colleague on the floor with us today. One of my favorites, Senator Lester Jackson, is here today from Savannah, Georgia. Good to see the senator here today, and I see the new senator from the second now. I didn't think the personality could get much better than yours, but you know, we got a live wire in the senator from the second nowadays. So, but. Good to have you, Senator, and good to see you looking well. It is now time for points of personal privilege. All those senators who like to rise on a point of personal privilege, I recognize the senator from the 34th.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the Senate. I rise. I just wanted to share the final arrangements for Representative Tish Nagisi homegoing visitation. Will be on March 24th from 11 to 7 p.m. at Dorch Williamson Funeral Home, located at 1410 Highway 138 in Southwest Riverdale, Georgia, where I reside. The contact number for the funeral home is 770-907-8548. Funeral services will be held at Tish's home church, Divine Faith, and that's located on 9800 Terra Boulevard in Jonesboro, Georgia. In honor of Tish, the Democratic Party that she honored and cherished so much, they are asking everyone to dress in Democratic blue. Blue was her favorite color, as well as being so very close to her heart, because they represented the values that as Democrat champions. I met Tish back when we were both at the Democratic Convention for the first time. And it was a relationship that we continued for so very long. It was time to go to work. We established the Fayette Democratic Women, which I was proud to be able to get Ms. Rosalind Carter to be our keynote speaker. And of course, it was a sellout, a huge success. But as a female serving in this chamber, it's an honor to be able to recognize women coming together to take their rightful place, not only in this chamber, but everywhere across the United States of America and abroad. I know many of you may not have known Tish as I did, but that's a huge loss regardless. We all are colleagues. So, Mr. President, on this day, I once again ask for a moment of silence for Tish's family.
Senator has requested a moment of silence. The Senate will stand in a moment of silence.
Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the will.
Thank you, Senator. Recognize Senator from the 32nd on a point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to talk for just a minute about service. Last night I had the great experience of attending my Rotary of East Cobb Give Back ceremony, in which we gave back all the money that we raised last year to local organizations. It amounted to $85,000, and we gave it to 24 different community organizations. So I'm so proud of the Rotary Club of East Cobb. And on that theme, we have two groups here at the Capitol today that are focused on service. Georgia Serves is the Georgia Commission for Service and Volunteerism. They're located within the Department of Community Affairs, and they're also the home of AmeriCorps, which is commonly known as the Domestic Peace Corps, as well as AmeriCorps Seniors. The legislature created Georgia Serves in 1994, and during 2021 and 22, 21 dynamic service programs received AmeriCorps grants from Georgia Serves, and more than 1,650 AmeriCorps members and seniors are working across the state of Georgia as volunteers. We get pretty involved in the General Assembly with how important we are as state legislators improving lives, but these organizations demonstrate the importance of community organizations doing great work with no involvement from us. There are a group of them here at the Capitol. We have resolutions for them, and I think there are a few in the gallery. So if you guys would help me recognize AmeriCorps and Georgia Serves. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Recognize Senator from the 28th on a point of personal privilege.
Good morning, Mr. President. I rise this morning to tell members of this body I got a call a few weeks ago from a dear friend back home, Hasko Craver, and he's assistant city manager there in Noonan, my hometown. And Hasko and I have been to church together. Our kids played soccer together, and Hasko, just great dude, and told me his dad was retiring. And, you know, without asking a whole lot of questions, I said, well, let's do him a resolution and commend him. And so that's what I did. And I want to congratulate Dr. Hasko William Craver III, who is with us up here in the balcony in the gallery today. He's got a long, distinguished career. I'm going to hit a few highlights here, but he served as physical therapist and assistant director of the Pennsylvania State University Sports Medicine Center. He has been the doctor of osteopathic medicine, graduated with his doctor of osteopathic medicine from Philadelphia College. He has served as a general surgery resident and chief resident general surgery at the Osteopathic Medical Center of Philadelphia. He has served as general surgeon at medical centers in Pennsylvania, Kentucky, and Georgia between 1992 and 2005. He's been in a assistant professor, an associate professor, and a professor of surgery. He's also been the chair of undergraduate clinical education at the Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine in Georgia between 2006 and 2009. Also the associate dean of undergraduate clinical education at the Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine in Georgia between 2009 and 2010. He's also received numerous awards, including being recognized as the Physician of the Year by the Georgia Osteopathic Medical Association in 2017, lifetime membership to the American College of Osteopathic Surgeons, and induction into the American Osteopathic Association's Mentor Hall of Fame. Dr. Craver, just want to congratulate you on a great career. And I think you'll agree, but one of your greatest legacies are your children, your boys, and your grandchildren as well, because they've certainly been a blessing to my community, and you've been a blessing to this state. And so I invite our senators to give you a warm welcome and a warm congratulations on a great career. So thank you.
All right, all right. Well done, well done. Thank you, Senator. Senator from the 35th, would you like to rise on a point of personal privilege right there?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. I stand to recognize Georgia podiatrist, oh Lord, podiatrist, I can't get it out, podiatrists who are here today to celebrate Podiatry Day at the Capitol. It's sponsored by our very own former Senator, Dr. Lester Jackson, who's already been recognized. Raise your hand. And we also had our former Senator, Dean Burke, who is the Chief Medical Officer now of the Department of Community Health that has participated. We have Dr. Kevin Johnson, the chair of the National Medical Association, Dr. Adrian Atkinson-Steed, vice president of the National Medical Association, scientific co-chair, Dr. Greg Williams, who is the scientific co-chair. Also, we have Dr. Holly and Dr. Jones. We had people to fly in from other states to be here with us today. We are talking about our feet. They are so complex, working as stabilizers, shock absorbers, and engines that are instrumental to overall health and wellness, which is why they require specialized expert care. Podiatrists are licensed in the diagnosis and treatment of the pathologist of the foot, ankle, and leg, and they play an essential and significant role in the multidisciplinary team for limb salvage. This care extends even to children and teens whose feet are still developing and are susceptible to a variety of conditions as they grow. Doctors of podiatry are in dire need right now as our nation faces epidemic of patients developing lower complications due to circulation and diabetes, and disproportionately proves limiting and even fatal for people of color or with limited financial resources. People of color are disproportionately receiving premature amputations of their feet and toes. This is unfortunate, as statistics show that these who receive those amputations die on an average within 5 years post-operation. And I can attest to that because my late husband in 2014 developed renal failure, and he had diabetes, and he bumped his toe on the bed, had to end up getting his toe cut off, his foot, his leg, and then they wanted to go to the other leg. And this is what happens when you don't have healthy feet. So thank you for being here with us. There are other podiatrists and guests that are in the gallery. Please stand. Please stand. And get a warm Senate welcome. And then the people who I've already called are standing against the wall there. We thank you for being here today. Thank you, Dr. Lester Jackson, for bringing them. Thank you. I yield well.
All right. Senator from the 30th, if you'd like to rise on point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fellow senators, my goal is to have this done before that light turns yellow. On your desk today, you have an Irish flag pin. So one of the things that's interesting about this is the Irish flag was actually designed by a U.S. citizen. So when you're thinking about that, he's a former governor of Montana. Just think about that when it goes on. And the second thing is, we've done the research. We don't have an American-Irish caucus like we had with Taiwan and with Korea and with Japan. So we're going to start an Irish-American caucus here, or American-Irish caucus. Now, you have to be of Irish descent unless you sign up today. If you sign up today, all you have to do is like somebody that's Irish, and you can be a member. So we're going to start the Irish-American caucus, and I hope that all of y'all are members. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the well.
Thank you, Senator. Senator from the 55th, the Minority Leader, would like to rise on a point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the Senate. Today, I would like to acknowledge a group of people that are recognizing Human Rights Day. Actually, we have on our consent calendar Senate Resolution 138 that will recognize Human Rights Day, because today is a very special day. On March 15th, 2006, the United Nations established the Human Rights Council to strengthen the protection of human rights around the globe. And so it is fitting that today at the Georgia Capitol, we too recognize individuals furthering human rights in this state. And today I would like to acknowledge Teo Wynn, the Perfect Love Foundation, and all those in the gallery honoring Human Rights Day at the Capitol. And for today, our slogan is very simple: love humanity and protect human rights. This is truly a message that we can all live by. And I would also like to acknowledge some of the groups that further our human rights in Georgia. The Southern Center for Human Rights, the National Center for Civil and Human Rights, the Carter Center, the Martin Luther King Jr. Center for Nonviolent Social Change, and Teo's Win and the Perfect Love Foundation. In a little while, we will hopefully on our calendar pass Human Rights Day for March 15th. And at the appropriate time, you can come down with me and take a picture. So if you're here, will you please stand up? The Love Foundation. Thank you so much. Members of the Senate, will you please welcome the Love Foundation that advocate for human rights. Thank you so much for visiting the Capitol today. And as I said, 5 of you can come down and take a picture. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield well.
Yes, Senator. And please get them down here so we can get a picture with them, Senator. Appreciate that. Recognize the Senator from the 12th to speak on point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, it's seldom that I rise for a point of personal privilege, but there's an urgent need to share something with my urban colleagues this morning. While you may not see the farm, you see and enjoy the labor and the love that goes on into producing our Georgia-grown food and fiber. It will come as no surprise that the food and fiber we enjoy at this Capitol took being delivered by a truck to reach you guys and all of the other Georgians that benefit from farm life. The fact is, Georgians in every single community in our state and our district that we represent rely on rural Georgia and the products that come from our farms and our forests. Daily, we recognize ag as our state's lifeblood and our #1 industry. The success of our agriculture producers is critical to the survival and progress of our urban and suburban communities. But on this past Saturday, the governor's supply chain executive order expired, and my phone has been ringing off the hook since then. For the last 3 years, my farmers have been able to haul 95,000 pounds from their farms. Now these same farmers, 72 hours later, are back to hauling at 84,000 pounds, an 11,000 pound reduction in payload. This 17% reduction in their allowable weight measure means for every 5 trips, they now have 1 additional trip that's required to move the same amount of product. But these same farmers cannot find drivers or afford the extra truckloads to address the demand that we see from all of our communities. With our population in the state of Georgia growing daily and an economic crisis looming, this disruption in the supply chain will undoubtedly impact consumers in rural and urban communities alike. I want to thank the senator from the 8th District for his point of personal privilege on yesterday. I too would encourage us to put Georgia on a level playing field with our surrounding states. Let's pass a 4,000 pound increase to raise the allowable weight to 88,000 pounds. Thank you, and I yield the well, Mr. President.
Recognize the senator from the 18th for a point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning again, colleagues. It's still morning. You know, the importance of the military in the state of Georgia and our military installations has enjoyed a rising level of consciousness in this chamber and I think here at the Capitol. And we have a greater appreciation for our military men and women who are serving. And I wanted to tell you about something that, some news that came out over the weekend that connected back to my alma mater of Mercer. And I rise to tell you today that Mercer University has received the ranking as the #1 military-friendly school for the 2023-2024 award year. And I think this is great to have it, of course, as any university in Georgia to receive this national recognition. More than 1,800 schools participated in the 2023 Military Friendly Award Survey, and Mercer received its first military-friendly designation in 2017 and stayed in the top 10 gold, silver, or bronze category for the past 4 years. And the 2023 military-friendly rankings place Mercer University at the top of its category among 665 institutions all across the country. In addition to that, to Mercer being a military-friendly school, it has continued its efforts, which have resulted in the institution being named Georgia's first Purple Heart University and one of the best colleges for veterans by U.S. News and World Report. So if you see some of the Mercer folks, or folks associated with Mercer University, please tell them great job for having a campus and a university that is friendly and geared toward making sure that services are being provided to our critical military folks. And with that, Mr. President, I'll just say as a proud Double Bear Mercer graduate, I'll yield the well. Thank you.
Recognize the senator from the 50th on point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today I rise to recognize a special group of guys from Habersham County, the Habersham EMC Lineman Rodeo Team. They are the first place overall winners at the International Lineman's Rodeo. The International Lineman's Rodeo is held annually and attracts the best line workers in the world to compete in events based on traditional lineman tasks. There are over 1,300 competitors from across the globe, and Habersham brought home the bacon. The members of the team were Tucker Dyer, Dylan Welburn, and Robert Morris. The coach was Chris Chapman. They are here today in the gallery along with Josh Allen, Tommy Thurman, Brian Ferguson, and Mary Beth Horton. This is a huge accomplishment and achievement. It's a great source of pride for Habersham EMC, the Habersham community, and quite frankly, the state as a whole. So I'd ask if y'all will join me in welcoming them, the international champs, to the Capitol today, and congratulate them on a job well done. With that, Mr. President, I will yield the well.
Thank you, Senator. Senator from the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I know I join my colleagues from the 25th and the 10th and let you know today is Henry County Day at the Capitol. We have lots of great folks from our Chamber of Commerce. Not sure they're actually up here anymore. But our Chamber of Commerce, also our county leadership, our water authority, our school system, all visiting with us today. And you have a gift on your desk. You have some preserves or some jelly from Southern Bell Farms down in McDonough. It's a great place to go. Get away with your family on the weekends and pick some strawberries or some peaches and spend time with your family. So thank you all so much. If you're still hearing this, everybody from Henry County that joined us up here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator from the 26th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, I come to you because for the last couple of years I've been trying to get the crime lab in Macon up to par. I've had calls from funeral directors and families who were not able to get death certificates. I would like to thank the Lieutenant Governor, the gentleman from the 26th, the gentleman from the 18th, and the gentleman from the 19th. The other day we had a meeting, and we got it worked out that the Macon Crime Lab will be up and running fully in April. And I would say to you that that was done because we had cooperation from members of the Senate as well as the Lieutenant Governor. And with that, I would just like for you all to give them a hand in putting this together.
Thank you, Senator. Senator from the 5th. I'd like to rise on point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, colleagues. I know we have a lot of guests come in, dignitaries from all over the world, but sometimes ordinary folks come and visit us too. So I'd like to recognize somebody came from Sydney, Australia, all the way to come see me and to visit the capital. So gentleman over here, Mr. Oman, my great welcome to the Georgia Senate. And thank you, appreciate it. Thank you for visiting us. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Senator from the 21st. Senator from the 21st. I don't see him in the chamber, so I guess he's just going to have to miss out on his points of personal privilege. Senator, you know where your seatmate is by chance? I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is, Senator. You have on your desk a local a consent calendar of privilege resolutions. Does any senator wish to remove a resolution from the consent calendar? Is there objection to the adoption of the resolutions on the consent calendar? Chair hears none, and the resolution on the consent calendars are adopted. You have before you a consent calendar of resolutions expressing the will of the Senate. Does any senator wish to remove a resolution from the consent calendar? The question is on the consent calendar and expressing the will of the Senate. Is there objection to agreeing the report of the committee which are favorable to the adoption of the resolution? Chair hears none. The report of the committee are agreed to. The question is on the adoption of the resolution on the consent calendar. All those in favor will vote yea, opposed nay. Secretary will unlock the machines. On the adoption of resolutions, the yeas are 49 and the nays are 0. All the resolutions on the consent calendar having received the requisite constitutional majority are therefore adopted. Are there any other motions to withdraw and commit? Moving on to the local consent calendar. Yeah, before you, local consent calendar of bills. Ms. Secretary, have any senator any objections been filed to any of the bills on the local consent calendar?
Mr. President, no objections have been filed.
Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the Committee on the State and Local Government Operations, which is favorable to the passage of the bills on the local consent calendar? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. The question is on the passage of the bills on the local consent calendar. All those in favor will vote yea, opposed nay. Secretary, unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 49, the nays are 0. This bill on the local consent calendar, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Have a seat right there, man. I'll get to you. How you doing, man? All right, we're moving on to the rules calendar here. First on the calendar is HB 77. Secretary, read the caption.
House Bill 77 by Representative Green of the 154th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 1562 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated, relating to the number of judges of Superior Court so as to provide for a fourth judge of the Superior Courts of the Daugherty Judicial Circuit to declare inherent authority. Committee of the Senate on Judiciary recommends that this bill do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Strickland of the 17th District Chairman. Senator Strickland of the 17th and others offered the following amendment, Amendment 1, to amend House Bill 77 by striking July 1st, 2023 on line 22 and replacing it with January 1st, 2024. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Recognize the senator from the 12th. Speak to the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I bring before you House Bill 77. This legislation would increase the number of Superior Court judges in the Daugherty Judicial Circuit from 3 to 4. It also would provide for necessary matters such as salaries, expenses, and authorization. The governor would appoint the fourth judge, and the judge's start date would be July 1 through 2023, their term would end on January 1st, 2024, as the amendment presented by my friend from the 17th, and I am perfectly okay with that amendment. So if there are no questions, I yield the well and ask for your favorable vote for HB 77. If there are no questions, I yield the well.
You have no questions, Senator. Does any other senator wish to rise and speak? We have an amendment. I recognize the senator from the 17th. Speak to the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. The senator from the 12th said this is just changing the effective date of when the new judge would start. This is based on what we're seeing, according to my seatmate, with the budget, making sure that we have the code section lined up when we're funding this position. So it's a friendly amendment. I ask you to support it so we can get some more help down in Southwest Georgia. Thank you. I'll yield the well.
Does any senator wish to speak for or against the measure? Chair hears none. Is there objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none, and the previous question is ordered. Senator, do you have any desires to close the debate? I doubt it, since you didn't have any questions. The question is on the adoption of Amendment 1 by the senator from the 17th. Is there objection to the adoption of Amendment 1? Without objection, Amendment 1 is adopted. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. Question is on the passage of the bill as amended. All those in favor of the bill vote yea. Opposed, nay. Secretary will unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 50 and the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed as amended. Secretary Reed, House Bill 142.
House Bill 142 by Representative Manor of the 56th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 8 of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to campus policemen so as to provide for the establishment of unified campus police forces through agreements entered into by colleges and universities. The Committee of the Senate on Public Safety recommends that this bill do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Albers of the 56th District Chairman. Senator Cowser of the 46th and others offer the following amendment. Amendment 1 to amend House Bill 142 by striking 500 on line 16 and replacing it with 200, by striking 1/4 on line 17 and replacing it with 1/10. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Recognize the senator from the 33rd. What purpose do you rise?
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 35th for business inside the Capitol.
Without objection, the senator from the 35th is excused. Recognize the senator from the 54th to speak to the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Friends, you probably remember this bill from last year. We passed it out of this body with overwhelming support. The heart of this bill is the same as it was last year. That bill got caught up in a Senate and House agreed, disagreed posture. But the language of that disagreement is not in this bill. This bill is simply codifies an opt-in for colleges and universities to enter in a public safety agreement that isn't currently allowed. It also has the endorsement of each college president, which pertains to it, signed on behalf of Spelman College, Clark Atlanta, Morris Brown, and Morehouse College. It allows these specific universities to streamline operations, reduce costs, and improve communications across each campus and with Atlanta police. Just a couple weeks ago, there was a tragic shooting of a young student at one of these colleges, and so this is just to make sure that we're doing everything we can to keep our young people safe at all times. So it's a good bill, and I hope you'll have your support. Mr. President, no questions, I will yield the will.
You have no questions, Senator.
I ask for your favorable support.
We have a amendment here from the senator from the 46th. I recognize the senator from the 46th to speak to that amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate. This is an amendment that we seem to do every year as well. We had this amendment on last year's version. It shortens the distance outside of university property where their law enforcement has jurisdictional powers. The idea of campus law enforcement is to protect students and faculty from criminal activity on campus. They are, under the current law, allowed to go up to 500 yards beyond campus or 1/4 of a mile. This shrinks that down to 200 yards and 1/10 of a mile. 200 yards is 600 feet, which is a little more than 1/10 of a mile. That's plenty of surrounding areas to patrol to protect your students. It's not the university system's job to be protecting citizens in cities and communities. They need to worry about campus, and that's all this does. Willing to yield to any questions, or I yield the will.
You have no questions, Senator.
All right.
You have no questions, Senator.
Thank you. I yield the will.
Does any other senator wish to speak on for or against the measure? Chair hears none. Is there objections to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Senator, do you have any reason to close debate? Or are you good? The 54th. The question is on the adoption of Amendment 1 by the senator from the 46th. Is there objection to the adoption of Amendment 1? Without objection, Amendment 1 is adopted. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. Questions on the passage of the bill. All those in favor vote yea. Opposed, nay. Secretary, unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 52 and the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed as amended. Secretary, read the captions for House Bill 203.
House Bill 203 by Representative Newton of the 127th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 12 of Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated, relating to the control of hazardous conditions, preventable diseases, and metabolic disorders so as to revise provisions relating to restrictions on the sale and dispensing of contact lenses with respect to physicians. The Committee of the Senate on Health and Human Services recommends that this bill do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Watson of the 1st District Chairman. That completes the order, Mr. President.
I recognize the senator from the 28th to speak to the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today I bring you House Bill 203, and this bill is very simple. It adds telemedicine and telehealth as a method to get a prescription refill on your contacts or eyeglasses. That I'll yield for questions.
You have no questions.
Thank you. I
Senator.
urge your favorable consideration for House Bill 203. Have a great day.
Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? Chair hears none. Is there objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none, and the previous question is ordered. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. Question is on the passage of the bill. All those in favor vote yea. All opposed nay. Secretary, unlock the machine. On the passage of the bills, the yeas are 51 and the nays are 1. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Secretary, read House Bill 242.
House Bill 242 by Representative Hitchens of the 161st and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 10 of Chapter 21 of Title 15 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the Georgia Drivers Education Commission so as to provide for an additional penalty for violation of traffic laws or ordinances under Joshua's Law. Committee of the Senate on Public Safety recommends that this bill do pass. Respectfully submitted by Senator Albers of the 56th District Chairman. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Recognize the senator from the 56. Speak to the measure.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is reinstating Joshua's Law through House Bill 242, which had been around since 2005. It did not get its normal extension as it got lost in the final moments of sine die last year. This is simply a small percentage that's added to fines and fees for traffic citations that helps to fund. Oh, wait. That helps to fund driver's education. The first priority of giving scholarships to those who are first responders and to military members who have lost their lives in the line of duty to their children. as well as those under DFACS care or foster care here in our state. And the second priority is given to those who can demonstrate needs-based family income of up to 175% of free and reduced lunch. This is helping make sure we're taking care of those students and making the roads safer. If there are no questions, I will yield the will.
You do have a question, Senator. Senator from the 21st.
I yield. Maybe we'll try the microphone next to you. How about the 20th microphone?
Just speak loud, Senator, so we can hear you.
I'll repeat the question. That's correct. So the senator who did not hear this asked about a penalty onto a fine that you might get for a traffic citation. It was originally 5% when the bill was put into law back in 2005, and then it moved to 1.5%, but it wasn't enough to meet the needs for those who are both first responders and are military veterans' children who had died in the line of duty, or those under DFACS care or 175% of school lunch. So this puts it back at 3%, but again, it's no state tax dollars. It's someone who is has a traffic citation. Please. No, it's not a tax increase. This is an existing law, and it goes specifically as an additional amount to someone who broke the law by getting a traffic violation. So traffic violations are not tax increases, but thank you for your question. I would further yield. It is not an increase. It is the amount assessed for the program, Senator. I do not have the exact numbers, but we work closely with the Governor's Office of Highway Safety, who administers this program, and they have figured out that that is the right amount to take care of first responders and veterans who died in the line of duty and their children, as well as foster care children in our state. Thank you.
You have no further questions, Senator.
Thank you. I urge your favorable consideration.
Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? And Senator from the 21st, apologize for the technical difficulties. They're working on it right now. So, Chair hears no objection. Stand by. You know, I was actually impressed. That was the best line of questioning I've heard from the senator from the 21st in a long time. It's a shame we didn't get that on the loudspeaker. We're just going to stand at ease for a second. If a Senate would like to stand at ease for about 10 minutes, we're going to try to get this server back up and running. So just Senate, just take a little 10-minute break and we'll reconvene. Just stand at ease.
manager didn't want him to do that song on that television special, but he did. It's called If.
Let me vote no.
I think we got everything sorted out. If the Senate will come back to order. Well, we got two bills left on the table, and based on what the House has done today, I don't think we're going to have much to do tomorrow because they're not doing any of our bills, Mr. Pro Tem. So we will have a very short day tomorrow. I'm anticipating. All right, if the Senate will come back to order, we're taking up House Bill 242. Before we had a little technical difficulties, we were at the point in the process. Does any senator wish to speak for or against the measure? Chair hears none. Is there objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. The question is on the passage of the bill. All those in favor will vote yea. Opposed, nay. Secretary, unlock the machines. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 43 and the nays are 8. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Secretary will read House Bill 268.
House Bill 268 by Representative Corbett of the 174th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 6A of Title 35 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated, relating to Criminal Justice Coordinating Council so as to provide for the establishment of a grant program to support local law enforcement agencies and multi-jurisdiction task forces relative to motor vehicle-related crime prevention initiatives. The Committee of the Senate on Public Safety recommends that this bill do pass by substitute, respectively submitted by Senator Albers of the 56th District Chairman. The Senate Committee on Public Safety offers the following substitute to House Bill 268, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 6A of Title 35 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to Criminal Justice Coordinating Council so as to provide for the establishment of a grant program to support local law enforcement agencies and multi-jurisdiction task forces relative to motor vehicle-related crime prevention initiatives. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Recognize the senator from the 56th.
Thank you, Mr. President. House Bill 268 is a fairly simple bill that will establish the Georgia Motor Vehicle Crime Prevention Advisory Board under CJCC, which is the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council. It will allow them to meet and apply for grants through the federal government and private institutions to make sure that through multi-jurisdiction work, these folks can come together to figure out better ways to prevent theft of motor vehicles as well as different parts on motor vehicles. There are no state tax dollars involved in this. If there are no questions, I will yield the will.
You do have one question. Senator from the 20th.
Hey, Mr. Chairman, would you yield for a question, please?
Be honored to yield to my friend from the 20th.
So we've added a fee to speeding, and now we're growing government. You say there's no state tax dollars involved. Do these people get a per diem, Mr. Chairman?
No, I don't believe they're going to get a per diem. However, I think that they're going to see a reduction in cost to all folks because as we work to insure vehicles and the parts off of those vehicles, a lot of times you're going to see them taking airbags and other things from exhaust systems. Ultimately, you can lower insurance rates as it pertains to the challenges we have with that today in Georgia. So private industry working together with our law enforcement officials is good government.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, do you yield for another question?
I'd be honored to yield to my friend.
My good friend. So can you, in light of your response to that other question, can you explain lines, I guess, 122 through 127?
Oh, you're right, my friend. I apologize. They could get per diem, although most of the people, if you'll see, who are on this board will not get per diem because they're at their job anyway, which is folks from the GBI, the Georgia State Patrol, the Commissioner of Insurance, the Sheriff's Association. Those folks are already going to be here doing their jobs anyway.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You have no questions, Senator.
Thank you. This will be a good measure to help reduce crime in the state of Georgia.
Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? Chair hears none. Is there objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none, and the previous question is ordered. The question is on the adoption of the committee substitute. Is there objection to the adoption of the committee substitute? Hearing none, the committee substitute is adopted. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none, the main question is ordered. The question is on the passage of the bill by substitute. All those in favor will vote yea, opposed nay. Secretary will unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 45, the nays are 5. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed by substitute. I recognize the pro tem for a motion.
Mr. President, I move that the Senate stand adjourned until 1 p.m. On Thursday, March 16, 2023.
The pro tem has moved. Secretary, read the announcements.
The Rules Committee meeting will happen upon adjournment in 450 of the Capitol. The Agriculture and Consumer Affairs Committee meeting will happen at 1 p.m. in Mezzanine 1 of the Capitol. The Public Safety Committee meeting will happen at 1:30 and 450 of the Capitol. The Higher Education Committee meeting will happen at 2 p.m. in 307 CLOB. The Insurance and Labor Committee meeting will happen at 2 p.m. in Mez 1 of the Capitol. The Health and Human Services Committee meeting will happen at 3 p.m. in 450 of the Capitol. The Finance Committee meeting will happen at 4 p.m. in Mez 1 of the Capitol. And the Ethics Committee meeting will happen at 5 p.m. in 307 CLOB. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Thank you, Secretary. I want to recognize and thank Jack Tripp here, who is, I don't know if y'all noticed, but David Cook is not feeling well today. Our Secretary of the Senate is not feeling well, and we had a pinch hitter, did a fantastic job. Let's give him a round of applause. He did a great job, and this whole crew right here does a wonderful job. They make things run smoothly. Look, guys, we might need to work on our March Madness bracket tomorrow because the House isn't doing anything right now with any of our bills. So I think maybe our committee assignments, Mr. Pro Tem, if you're all right, was just work on the brackets tomorrow. So because they're not taking up any of our stuff. So but. I also want to recognize a lady who has been with me since I started in the Senate. She's trying to make her way up right now, but Denise Sampson, it is her birthday today. And Denise Sampson, so she might be a little embarrassed right now, but y'all please wish her a happy birthday. Denise has been with me since I started in the Senate. 10 years ago now, so she does a fantastic job. She's working in the Lieutenant Governor's office now as well. So the Pro Tem has moved that we stand adjourned until 1 p.m. tomorrow, March 16th. Before I do that, I recognize the Rules Chairman for an announcement. Hold on. Come on, Senator from the 28th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, in my hand I hold nine bills, 9 Senate bills. That's how many they've passed over there. We are at 60 House bills we have passed. I tell you that to tell you that the Rules Committee will be very brief today. And also would like to welcome you all to the Taiwan luncheon in 2:30. Thank you.
The Pro Tem has moved that the Senate stand adjourned until 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes clearly have it. Have a wonderful day.